I started kind of dabbling in different issues and different kind of awareness about getting involved in different things on campus, like recycling and even some animal rights issues. I would say that the biggest, deepest thing that really kind of propelled me into really taking a stronghold in activism was like a campaign that was kind of organized in on campus about exposing the horrors of toxins and different pollutions, different elements of pollution at the hands of corporations, and specifically, what they were focusing on was this river in Perry, Florida, the Fen Holloway River, that Procter and Gamble, a huge corporation, was responsible for contaminating the water and poisoning people's drinking water. In addition to, of course, horrible air pollution, forest devastation to turn the trees into pulp so that they can make their landfill diapers and their Puffs Kleenexes and their Bounty paper towels and stuff. And I went down there and I saw that river and I just was horrified. That started talking to people that lived down there and was hearing stories about people that were suffering from cancer and birth defects and miscarriages, all seemingly because they'd been drinking contaminated water for years, if not decades. And then talking to people that told me that that river, the Fen Holloway River, used to be crystal clear, and that was spring fed. And people used to even bottle water. There used to be a bottling company that would bottle the water. It was so pristine and clear and pure and clean. And and then when I went there, I mean, I'm sure it's even worse now. It was black. The water was black, and it was because of all the toxic effluent that Procter and Gamble was pumping back into the river after they had sucked so much of the water from the aquifer. The discharge pipe was literally all of their effluent from the plant. Upstream from the plant, there wasn't even any water left. They had already drained so much of the aquifer that it was no longer spring fed, and so the riverbed was completely dry upstream from the river, and the only water that was in the riverbed downstream was all the toxic sludge from the plant. And so when I saw this firsthand and I smelled the stench in the air and I talked to the people that were literally being poisoned so that at the hands of government, literally government and corporate entities, so that way people could make money and boost the economy, and government agencies like the Environmental Protection Agency and in Florida, the Department of Environmental Protection, were literally letting Procter and Gamble get away with murdering people and certainly poisoning our environment, and not holding them accountable or responsible or, quote, punishing them. I don't really like the term punishing, yet, holding them accountable whatsoever for
Right.
their
Were
actions.
they getting kickbacks from it or something? Or, I mean, what?
Um, well, you never know. I'm sure that there was some kind of like agreement, whether it was um, you know, uh, whether it was kind of an implicit or explicit kind of agreement that the company's making a certain amount of money for the economy, so the government agencies kind of look the other way and don't really, or they come around during the week, kind of nonchalantly, and then so on the weekends, when Procter and Gamble knows that all the officials and the regulators, the inspectors, are going to be home with their kids or home, for the weekend, because they don't work on Saturday and Sunday, of course, because it's a government agency. Then they release the most horrific effluent, both in the air and through the discharge pipe, and then in the water, into the water on the weekends, when they know that no government official is going to be around to catch them, you know, dumping or spilling or emitting even more pollution. I mean, it's bad enough during the week, so it's hard for me to even fathom that they could get away with what they were getting away with. I mean,
Right.
to me, it doesn't even make sense that they would wait to the weekend, because it seemed like the EPA and the DEP really didn't hold them accountable for anything.
So on this issue, like, were you working with a group or individually, and like, what were you doing to try and fight Procter and Gamble from polluting this river?
I was working specifically with Florida PIRG, FPIRG, that was a group on campus that received some funding, I guess in part through like tuition, not really tuition, but Um, when students paid their tuition, there's like a little box that you could check if you did or did not want to contribute to Florida Per. I think so they definitely had some funding to do some pretty amazing campaigns. So they had a lot of energy and a lot of like staffing and a lot of like resources to really get help people get plugged in. And so I worked with them with that group. And again, they were based on campus, and they did a lot of outreach and a lot of like hands-on, like witnessing what was going on to the environment and to people's drinking water, and then from there doing what they could to kind of expose that. There wasn't a lot of direct action. It wasn't like road blockades or lockdowns. There wasn't like huge like campaign to write letters or make phone calls, even though there was some of that. I think by and large, without wanting to speak for them, because I didn't really jive with some of the philosophy of FPIRG. I personally didn't think it was active enough and proactive enough. It's like, okay, well, great, you're helping to expose these issues. Now what? Let's do something about it. And yeah, I think that's where I would have certainly liked them to be a little bit more assertive with like maybe taking some direct actions. What I did personally was, I'd go around to like Publix and other Albertsons and other like supermarkets, and I would take a bunch of stickers that I had acquired from different organizations, and then stick stickers on the Procter & Gamble products. Things that you couldn't see when they're just sitting on the shelf. Like I would stick them under lids that still had like a seal under the lid, so I wasn't contaminating the product. So you can't see it as you're like checking it out, but then you get it home and then you unscrew the lid, and then there's this sticker jumping out at you. That's the top of the little seal that you have to break.
What did the sticker say?
Actually, I'm kind of jumping to different campaigns. It still was with Procter & Gamble though, and that was about animal testing. I never actually had stickers that were talking about like Perry, Florida, and the Fenhollow River, but it still was in a campaign to boycott Procter & Gamble. So whether it was for animal rights issues or for environmental issues, the message was still getting across: boycott Procter & Gamble. So it would say something like, this product is tested on animals, boycott Procter & Gamble. And other stickers said like, did you know that, stop animal torture, stop Procter & Gamble, this is the number that you can call. So it would be like an 800 number. Which the beautiful thing about 800 numbers is that it costs the company money. That's how it makes it free for us to call them, because they actually pay for each call that comes in on an 800 line. Whoa. So that's a form of activism that I would do. I did my own like little mini campaign, really, like in a kind of aside from like Florida Per. I just really felt passionate about spreading the message about this horrible, egregious company doing some of the most abominable acts. That was only 50 miles from where we were living in Tallahassee when we were going to school there. So I just kind of took it a personal mission that everybody that I talked to, or certainly if I was in their homes and I saw that they had Procter & Gamble products, I kind of learned all the products that they make, which is a lot. And, so I'd go into stores as well, and like I'd stick stickers on like Crest toothpaste and then stick it back in the box, and then I'd and then so I encouraged people like, hey, did you know this is what they're doing this to the animals, doing this to people, doing this to our environment? Call them. It costs them money every time you call them. So call them and tell them that you're boycotting their products and the reason why you're boycotting their products. And then, so on top of them not making money off of you buying their products, you're actually costing them more money every time you call those numbers. Call them multiple times a day. So that was the form of activism that I did, with that specific campaign about Procter & Gamble.